Wow. Wow, Mark, we measured you back in 2020. Like,
Grew
it's
two
quite the
inches right
increase.
there. What's up with
Yeah. What's
that?
your secret? Welcome back, everybody, to another wonderful episode of Banter on the Rocks. Got myself Tim here today and John, of course. And today is Tuesday, February 17th. And if it is your first time here, welcome to the show. And to everyone who tunes in each and every week, thank you for the support. And make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button so you're here for each and every week. Quick shout out, hit 2,000 subscribers on
hmm
YouTube today. Very exciting news. Thank you,
hmm
everybody, for, of course, subscribing and continuing to do so. It means the world to us. So thank you very much. And on today's episode, we'll be diving into our latest Banter takes, Olympic talk, NBA All-Star Weekend recap, womp womp womp, and much, much more. And as always, we are going to be bringing you real talk, honest reactions, and plenty of banter along the way. All right, so let's get into it as we do each and every single week. We're kicking things off with our banter drinks of the week, what we're sipping on, why we chose it, and how it's fueling the energy for today's show. Really, really, really busy weekend for me, John. I know I
hmm
already hinted at that
Yeah.
all the way through yesterday. Um, so kind of keeping a little bit of, still continuing the samesies. Gin and tonic, continuing on with the Hendrix gin. Um, God, much needed. Much needed. Um, yeah, but no, gin tonic, squeeze of lime, 2 second drink to make, but delicious.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm sticking with the same as well this week. I'm doing tequila and the Taste Salud, the Jamaica. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
been a busy week as well. The rain's coming down. We're trying to stay dry. Uh, Trying to keep kids entertained inside the house because you can't really do much outside because you don't want to get them sick. So busy weeks.
Hear you on that. Yeah, avoid
Yeah.
the illness going around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll get started with our one of our newer segments. It's Tim's Wolfpack check-in, and the Wolves had two games this past week. So I'll
Hey
let Tim
yo.
take it away.
Hey, we got into the W category for part of it and a draw for the other. Both games combined, whopping 1-0 altogether. First match, 0-0. Then we took on Grimsby Town for the FA Cup. Ended up winning that one 1-0 with a Bueno goal within the 60th minute. So yeah, we'll take the draw, we'll take the win,
hmm
anything but a loss. We're up to a whopping 9 points in
hmm
Premier League standings. I think we can get on a little bit of a run here. Thoughts and prayers. Hopefully we can do that. We draw back-to-back really tough matchups here, or at least tough matchup coming up now, and then who we're going to draw for the FA Cup next. We are getting Arsenal this week. That is going to be pretty brutal, I believe. Um,
hmm
Tough matchup overall. If I'm not mistaken, yep, first in EPL standings. Very dominant team, very well put together. But you know what? I believe in this team. I believe we can fight a little bit. Didn't turn out too good against another good team, Chelsea, as we talked about last time. Um, but also, news today, John, you sent me the link. Saw it as well. We draw Liverpool, right, for
hmm
the FA Cup in the round of 16. Brutal matchup again. That's the number six EPL team at the moment. But you know what? Again, FA Cup, I feel like it has a little bit different vibes to it. Hopefully we
Yeah.
can pull something off. Um, but yeah, so tough sledding ahead. One quick thing is the conditions at
Grimsby.
Grimsby horrendous, just downright terrible. That field looked like just a mud pen,
hmm
just mud everywhere. But hey, if we can sneak away with a 1-0 win in a tough pitch like that, we'll take it every time.
Yeah.
Shout out Match Day Ben as always, keeping the live commentary going. His seats were immaculate as well. Had to duck down in order to see the field. But honestly, I think that's how I'd picture,
Yeah.
just random, teams in Britain,
Yeah.
their stadiums.
No, yeah. Like I said, it was a good win for them in the FA Cup fourth round. Yeah, I saw the videos of that field. That field was just bad. I saw them pushing mud away from the field, the greenskeeper. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, good win for them. Stays in the FA Cup, stays relevant for now. Yeah, you guys have a tough matchup against the Wolves. I think your easiest matchup will be Crystal Palace, but
Yep.
even Aston Villa, end of next week, they're I think third in the table, so they're up there.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I just saw this, you guys, like you mentioned, you guys got Liverpool FA Cup fifth round, but you're playing Liverpool also Tuesday, so you're playing them Tuesday, March 3rd, and then March 7th, so you're gonna see them twice in a week, which
Yeah.
I don't think you see much in soccer, in football, especially European. But one thing I saw a video because I was looking up, who Wolves are going to take on. Um, Wolves against Liverpool in the FA Cup, 5-2 out of the seven meetings.
There you go.
So,
Hey. Yeah.
hey, something to look forward to.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Oh man. Yeah, no, outrageous. Hey, against Arsenal, we're gonna be at Molineux.
hmm
Away for Crystal Palace, back home for um Aston Villa, but then back to back against Liverpool in
hmm
Molineux, home crowd,
Yeah.
bring out the wanka wanka if you have to. Just do it.
hmm
I love the chance. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Say what you got to say.
Yeah, no, it'll be good, FA Cup, matchups. Some of them are good. Man City versus Newcastle, that's going to be a decent match. My Chelsea team taking on Wrexham. I'm excited about that. Taking
Okay.
down, Ryan Reynolds. But
Yeah.
Wrexham's a scary team because, like I say, they're all up and coming, possibly. Um, and then who else were other polls? I think that was it. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you about the Wrexham. Ryan
hmm
Reynolds seemed unbelievably pumped up. I'm sure he's just seeing dollar signs because of the matchup,
Yeah.
and that's probably what it was, right?
I think it's dollar signs, but it's also, like I say, for Wrexham, a team that wants to get into the Premier League. I think they're two leagues below. I think if they're able to promote this next season, they go into the Championship Cup or league, which
Okay.
is right below the EPL, where it's also where if Wolves can't get out of that relegation zone where they're going to be going. So it's one step closer for them coming from way down in the leagues to where they're at right now in such a short time. Great for Wrexham, great
Hmm.
to sort of see how owners that really do invest some money into the team can make a difference in such a short time. So I think he sees it both dollar signs, but also a great challenge to sort of see where they're at for their future.
Sure. No, it makes a
Yeah.
whole lot of sense, and that's
Yeah.
what makes English football so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
Moments like
and
that.
and the way Chelsea plays at times, it's scary because, like I say, Wrexham's just one with momentum. I think we're going to Wrexham to play too, so
Oh wow.
uh, that home field advantage sometimes could be tough.
Yeah. Let's see if Palmer can pull off another, hat trick in the first
Another
half.
hat trick, yeah, yeah. But hey, Tim, like I say, Wolves get past this round, Chelsea gets past this round. Maybe we will see you again this year before in 2 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I want my rematch pretty quick here though. So it'd be great. Hopefully so.
Yeah, but that's Tim's Wolfpack check-in on the Premier League and the Wolves.
Go Wolves.
Um, but we'll go into our banter takes. This is our hottest takes of the week. We don't prep each other with any of these takes. We're just gonna and we don't compare notes. We don't talk about it beforehand, and we don't pull punches. We're gonna speak what's on our mind. Real-time reactions only. So we'll get into it. Um, And my first take, Mr. Beast has hinted at donating $100 million to donate to ECU to make them a national title contending football team. Good for ECU, but digs the NCAA into an even deeper hole with NIL. Yes, and it's sort of what we've seen from a lot of these NIL deals and people donating money for teams that haven't been relevant just to get these players. What it's gonna do, it's gonna really shift that market because if ECU with this $100 million donation can make a difference, you're gonna start seeing it everywhere. Because like I say, they aren't limiting it from what I've heard. There isn't a cap of how much they can get from donors to pay NIL money to players. So like I said, you could offer one player 100 million, the best quarterback in the future for 4 years, and he'll probably take it because that's generational wealth and generational changing money that even if he stinks and doesn't make it into the NFL, he probably has made more money than a majority of NFL players in their league. So, I think it's great for ECU, NCAA. I think they're gonna let it be and sort of see what comes from this and what comes in the next 2 to 3 years. Because it could just be a one-off, one-time donation for Mr. Beast. But like I say, if it works, ECU can make a run and even make it into the college football playoffs. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this from some of these big donors, big people with big money like Mr. Beast, make changes.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think we'll see a whole lot more of it if, it works out the way that Mr. Beast wants it to. And it kind of seems like, he kind of is running it like he would in NCAA, like franchise dynasty mode on the video game. Because, I mean, yeah, the only thing stopping Mr. Beast from doing it is, does he want to put $100 million towards
Yeah.
something like this? Knowing, the amount of money he spends on, everything he does for his channel and his name, and
Hmm.
everything out there, I wouldn't put it past him, quite frankly. It's an extraordinary number, but the amount of players that, it could get on ECU would be absolutely
Hmm.
incredible. They would be pretty dominant very quickly. But it just kind of digs, the rut a little bit deeper with all this NIL stuff. It's just kind
Hmm.
of pay your way through. We've seen iconic coaches leave, like Saban.
Hmm.
We've seen other coaches have plenty of issues with it. We've seen coaches come out instead of, kind of putting their hard hat on and going towards, recruitment tours in a way. It's, hey, we need
Hmm.
more money from
Yeah.
donors, and how can you guys help us, blah blah blah. The game has greatly changed. And it's absolutely insane. And kind of coinciding with this, showing how crazy NIL has gotten, is I came across an article, I believe a couple days ago over the weekend, that USC freshman Deshaun Rideau, I believe is how you say his last name, has a downtown LA penthouse
Oh
above
man.
Staples Center, Crypto Arena now, that overlooks the entire city. It is an incredibly bougie looking apartment. But it just goes to show he's probably, already a multimillionaire.
Hmm.
Literally straight out of high school. He went to Oaks Christian, dominant private school
Hmm.
in Ventura County area. And I believe he plays running back, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But again, freshman penthouse, already having that. I think Caleb Williams, I rumored, had a similar setup, something like
Hmm.
that. Um, uh, just kind of saw that in the comments. Can't even
Yeah.
confirm it, but wouldn't put it past it. It's just how it is. Hey, good for him. He's that young, being that successful. Hopefully he can, have, a great season for USC. It's fun when USC is very relevant. So, maybe a talent like him will make it happen. But again, it's that, you pay for these players to, have extreme lifestyles. We
Hmm.
have players like Dante Moore wanting to stick in college another year because he could probably make more. We have, the quarterback for Ole Miss. literally going to court to fight his way to stay in college versus entering the NFL draft. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a third round draft pick. I want to be a fifth
So,
year senior
yeah.
at Ole Miss. So it's polar opposite of what we used to see. Um, and there's no end in sight as well.
hmm
Another kind of crazy thing with the kind of conference mix, I guess is what you want to say these
hmm
days is, just obviously no more Pac-12. We have, teams going everywhere. But I saw Sacramento State, the closest team in their conference is 2,100 miles away.
Oh man.
They're playing all teams upper Midwest to East
That's
Coast,
crazy.
everybody in the MAC. So hey, a lot of travel for them. See how
Yeah.
it plays off. But man, it's just that aspect changes a bunch, and then you add a whole bunch of money that Mr. Beast, or other celebrities,
hmm
rich figures could come in and
Yeah.
throw around.
It is crazy because I pulled up some of the top NIL paid college athletes. So Arch Manning, and this is just what, ChatGPT finds online, makes around 5.3 to 6.8 million. So if Mr. Beast gives 100 million just for
Hmm.
one season, the next person, number two, Carson Beck, made 4.3 to 4.9. Jeremiah Smith, one of the top wide receivers, 4.2 million, you know. And then some of these other quarterbacks that aren't that great, Drew Aller 3.1, Sam Levitt 3.1. If you give everybody 5 mil, with that 100 million that Mr. Beast gets, that's 20 top players that are going to go to your school because that's the highest amount of NIL money they're going to get. So you're going to get some of these people. Jeremiah Smith may be like, yeah, I'm not going to enter a transfer portal because, ECU is going to give me 8 mil because, Ohio State ain't going to do it. You guys don't got it. ECU does. So,
Hmm.
and just build a super team, which will be crazy. So, but yeah, I'm curious. And like I say,
Hmm.
we always joked about, or I won't say we joked about it, but we talked about it. Like, I would want to see some donors give back to Hawaii. And because Hawaii was a program I remember us growing up as younger youth like to see, with Colt Brennan, some of those teams that were just so awesome to see, such great football. And they've sort of lost that,
Hmm.
and like I say, just give someone, a penthouse in Hawaii. They'll go there. Permanent penthouse, that's rich money right there.
Hell yeah. Yeah. No, imagine even if you just get, comped real estate.
hmm
Hey, this penthouse, you own it free and clear.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make an answer just so incredibly easy.
hmm
At least it would, I'm sure, for you or I. That would be a hell of an easy answer, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Being able to, fall its mid 80s all day, every day.
Yeah.
But it's a huge mix, and it goes for all sports. We're seeing it like, with the basketball, for example.
hmm
That player with Alabama, literally drafted or undrafted rookie,
Yeah.
G League player, goes back to Bama, plays there now. He's hearing it from the crowd for sure. Like everybody's,
I think he's not playing anymore. I think there was a
oh,
ruling that he couldn't play anymore.
oh, really? Wow. See,
Yeah.
that's news to me. So
Yeah.
do you know who's making the governance to like
No.
wow.
No, but I read somewhere that he was told he wasn't able to anymore.
Okay.
Um,
Huh.
yeah, I'll look it
News to
up.
me. Yeah, I totally thought he was still playing. I hadn't heard otherwise. But again, like situations like that, people are throwing around like, oh yeah, can LeBron James, go back to college? He never went and give it a chance.
He could. He technically he could. After he
Probably
retires, if
right.
he wants to go. Yeah.
Kind of Billy Madison it.
Yeah.
What he missed out on.
Yeah. Yeah. So former G League player Charles Bediako returned to the Alabama Crimson Tide on January 2026, playing 5 games under a temporary restraining order after leaving the Professional Basketball League. However, a judge denied a preliminary injunction on February 9th, rendering him ineligible and ending his return. So,
Oh.
like I said, it seems like they took it back. and it seems like the NCAA ruled on this.
Oh wow. So there is still an NCAA.
Hmm.
That's probably news to me as well. I
Yeah.
feel, I feel like it's literally the Wild Wild West and it's just the purge.
Yeah.
No government, no government over
Yeah.
anything. Free will.
Yeah. So, but I think it's what it's gonna cause, you know. And we've talked about this even before the Mr. Beast thing. It's like you're gonna see some players possibly not go professional because the money might be better based on their draft, status. Um, we talked about it. Cooper Flag probably could have stayed in NCAA basketball and probably made maybe just as much and all everything he gets and stayed, in college.
Mhm.
But, as a number one pick, you don't know injuries, things like that might happen and could derail you. But, those in the second round, that weren't eligible anymore to stay are seniors, and it's sort of like either you make a you go to court saying you want to be eligible for another year because of XYZ, and continue to make money because NBA wise, only 2 rounds, and if you don't make it there, you go either to G League or overseas, and I don't think some of these players want to do that just yet.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure some sports more than others, players are going to want to stay in college a little bit longer. I feel like football is for sure kind of the leader of the pack on that one. I feel like NBA, if you're good enough, you're going to be a high enough draft pick. By all means, you're going to go
Hmm.
pro. I feel like the dollar amounts will be somewhat more competitive and not as lap-sided. I know like a player like you mentioned, Cooper Flag with NIL, and
Hmm.
I think he had already gotten that New Balance shoe deal.
Hmm.
Could have made, a tremendous amount of money staying,
Hmm.
but maybe he, saw the upside chance of, making even more going pro.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess kind of along the same topic, John, but like, we kind of hinted at, years of eligibility and things
Hmm.
like that. But I another article I came across this past week, Montana linebacker Tulia
Hmm.
Pupu granted ninth year of eligibility by NCAA. He turns 26 in March. Had a couple surgeries,
Hmm.
started his collegiate career at USC in 2018. Seems so long ago now.
Yeah.
What is too excessive when it comes to things like that, you feel
I
like?
I think that's too excessive. Why he's doing it for NIL, most likely because I think I haven't seen him play. I'm not going to judge his play, but I'm thinking he's probably not going to be in the draft, will be undrafted and maybe not even signed. And
Hmm.
a big reason is based on his age, maybe injury history, things like that. But if this is a way to make money, and like I say, honestly, I haven't seen what, or I assume some of these NIL deals probably make you a lot more money than going to the UFL, going to the XFL, going to European football, Canadian Football League. And this guy's just taking advantage of it. So, if the NCAA allows it, kudos to him. But I think that's what they have to do with NIL, sort of limited it to your first 4 years. After 4 years that you've been eligible of getting NIL, you're not eligible anymore because that's how long college was always before this. Before this NIL, before trying to stay longer, get more experience, whatever it is. It's like it was 4 years and you're gone.
Yeah.
So I think that's what NCAA and NIL should be. It's like, your first 4 years eligible of getting NIL money, you'll get it. But after year five, you aren't going to get NIL. You're just playing for scholarships, school stuff, but no NIL money.
Right. No, absolutely. I don't know if you remember back in the day, like you mentioned the past, and it was like kind of
Hmm.
like you're four and done.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember back in the day when Matt Leinart was at USC. He redshirted 2001. Then 2002 was his freshman year. He played backup. Then he
Hmm.
started 03 through 05 for USC.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember that 2005 season. I think that was the Vince Young year,
Hmm.
right? The
Yeah.
national championship game that's, like a forever game. Um, I remember seeing countless articles about him staying in college too long with just 5 years. I
Yeah.
remember he was taking like if I remember right, like a ballet class.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, it was great for my footwork and stuff." Sure, makes sense. But I remember like, just that fifth year seemed excessive,
Hmm.
20 years ago. But now 5 years is like, okay, yeah, normal time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how much has changed.
Yeah, it's insane because, like I say, I think that that's the way it should be. Like, yeah, you could redshirt, but if you redshirt, you're not eligible for NIL. You're not going to get anything. You're just a redshirt, player.
Yeah,
And then once it's your first official year, all right, you can make NIL money. This is what we're offering you, and just do it for 4 years. Because, like I say, it's taking opportunities away from younger players to play. This Montana linebacker, granted his ninth year, there could be someone who isn't playing linebacker because this guy does have experience. He's older, he's smarter, he's wiser, um, and it's taking a spot away from some younger kid that's just trying to show up and trying to put up great stats to become a transfer portal that can maybe go into like a better Division 1, go into the ACC, type team. And not like I said, nothing against Montana. I think the great teams probably, but the competition talent wise isn't the same. So it's sort of unfortunate. We'll see what changes. I think eventually things are going to start changing because I think it's starting to become a topic of conversation.
absolutely. Yeah, no, in the past we've talked about, that salary cap or,
Hmm.
max per player allowance. And it makes a lot more sense. Maybe not max per player, but
Hmm.
max per team, something that salary cap. I feel like it's, incredibly necessary. And you brought up a good point there, John, with your red shirt, you're not eligible for
Hmm.
NIL. Maybe you're eligible for scholarship, the academic part of things, having access to team facilities, training, things like that. All that makes sense. But, that kind of cued me to look up Bryce James. Bryce James is redshirting with Arizona, and I pulled up an article here that was written less than a day ago.
Hmm.
Um, somebody I now this could be, we might be getting got on this,
Hmm.
but the range, I mean, this seems incredibly excessive. I don't think it's this high, but this article is saying he's allegedly made over $20 million in NIL this season. I think that seems high, but I saw something more realistic on other
Hmm.
articles that are ranging 1.1 to 1.5 million, and I believe it, but yeah, 1.3 seems to be the most
Hmm.
common denominator on that. But 1.3 million to sit on the bench and not provide to Arizona the team.
Hmm.
Props to him. It's great that he's doing that, and he has it. It's nothing against him. He's just,
Yeah.
don't hate the player, hate the game. But again, that's probably another place where, you got to kind of work some things out. There might be kind of something with that. And then kind of furthering that topic a little bit more when it comes to basketball, I
Hmm.
saw Adam Silver is in the NBA is contemplating having no longer there being an NBA draft, in that they would go to a free agency. Everybody's just a free agent, and then you can just sign them for X amount of dollars, I believe, is kind of how it goes. And that is a possibility because of the tanking thing. We're seeing
Okay.
teams get fined for it. Utah Jazz, $500,000. This past week it was big news leading up to All-Star weekend. But that keep the NBA draft. I
Hmm.
like it too much. It's worth
Yeah,
watching.
it's a lottery draft, so it's like these teams that are tanking. Sometimes they don't even get the first round pick, so it's not even a guaranteed,
Yep.
If it was like the NFL where it's like you have the worst record, yeah, you're getting the number one pick. Okay, fine, something else to do. Football maybe has to look into it if they see a pattern, but A- NBA they shouldn't, that'd be so dumb because you're gonna get these players to sign with, these certain agencies and they're just gonna go to the big teams. All the big name players are going to go to the best teams. They're going to go to OKC. They're going to go to Boston. They're going to go to the Lakers. because it's about that status, and these other teams are going to miss out, which, like I say, it isn't a fair deal. So I think it's dumb, but yeah, I'm happy the NBA is finding teams that are tanking. Um, I'm just waiting for them to give the biggest fine to the Lakers because Lakers are tanking. I saw one post. I don't know if I sent it to you, but it was this guy traveling from somewhere far away, went to a Laker game
Oh,
against the
Australia.
Spurs. Yeah, against the
Yep.
Spurs, right?
Yep.
And none of the starters were playing. Like
Hmm.
nobody. Not AR, not LeBron. Luca, I think, was the only one that probably should have sat out because I think he is dealing with the injury. But
Yeah.
I think starters were what? Jackson Hayes. I don't even
Hachimura.
Hachimura. It's like it was bad. And like I say, for some of these people that are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars and just so much money to go watch some of these players play, it's an unfortunate thing that you aren't even playing. So,
Hmm.
uh, Lakers should be getting a big fine, just like Utah Jazz, but it's LeBron. They're a little scared. We're not scared of, putting this out there, but Lakers need that fine. Don't be scared, NBA.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. At least I guess his benefit, he got to go watch Wemby. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Wemby went off that game. That's the
yeah,
biggest consolation. He got really lucky with that. Could have been a
yeah,
game Wemby didn't play either.
yeah.
Um, but it happens all too often.
hmm
That's why, families are doing less planning at taking,
hmm
like for example, like me with my kiddos. Like I don't even care to try to go to an NBA game at times
hmm
because it's like, oh, is there even a guarantee that anybody's going to be
Yeah.
playing? Any
Yeah.
star can sit out any game. It happens last minute. You buy the tickets in advance, you plan for it. It's a trip for a lot of people, it takes some planning.
hmm
It's not an easy thing. So yeah, maybe a shortened season is necessary at this point. And then, the other rumors kind of floating about, which, having watched, I'm just, truly an expert with the EPL at this point, John. Totally joking. But I don't mind the relegation thing. Like, I really don't. And I think it's never going to happen. In my brain, it's just never going to happen because owners will never agree to it. But I just feel like if you could come up and broaden the international teams, have a team in, we talked about it, Mexico City, you have a team in Spain,
hmm
England, Japan, I don't know, you name it, Canada, more in Canada, it's
hmm
just spread it out a little bit more. And then, with that, you have just a broader variety of teams in the more grand possibility of, creating smaller leagues, not really including the G League because those are too rinky-dink with the arenas. But just that possibility alone, I think is kind of worth exploring. Obviously, you have to expand. I think expansion in general helps, which again, another rumor that we heard
hmm
this weekend, which all of this info is far more interesting than
Yeah.
what the NBA All-Star game is. We'll get into that. But kind of coinciding with that, Seattle
hmm
and Vegas, right? Possibly
Yeah.
getting a team, but then that means probably a team like Memphis goes east, which makes sense.
hmm
They should have already been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, possibilities are there. I know they're thinking about it. I just don't think Adam Silver's done a very good job so far.
Yeah, I think it would be good. Like I say, yeah, you could do a few more teams, in other countries, but I think even if you keep it in the States, like I say, you have a G League already. If your team, if you're in the NBA and you're one of the worst two teams, you get automatically go to the G League, and those G League teams step up to the NBA.
Hmm.
And like I say, the way you sort of help, make that better, it's like I think with regulation, like if you get regulated from the EPL or any of those other leagues in Europe, it's in football, I think you lose about some of your salary cap. Your salary cap gets reduced like 30% or something,
Wow.
or
Yep.
25% or something. But it's like, look at it that way. It's like, there's a salary cap right now in the NBA. Make the salary cap in the G League, 25%, 50% less, whatever you think it should be. and then even have a smaller league below that, and that's college. College, just
Hmm.
make college a league because that's where they get started.
Yeah.
And then, then maybe you don't need a draft. Then,
Hmm.
the just signing players makes a little bit more sense, but you're still going off a salary cap. It's more about the regulation because that's the way it is in football in Europe. It's like there is no drafts. It's you build youth based off your club system, your
Hmm.
youth academies, and it's like start that process with the NBA. Get a youth academy. These NBA teams, it's like, and even these G League teams adopt one of the local football, one of the local colleges to be your development academy. So like USC
Hmm.
going to the Lakers, UCLA going to the Clippers. It's like that's my team, those players that we get in that league come up to the next level of G League. And then it's sort of like you get drafted.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect. Yeah. And then you could have, the NBA PA kind of govern, the players and kind
Mm-hmm.
of give a little bit more of that union feel to it. And, there
Mm-hmm.
could be, again, salary cap implementation and
Mm-hmm.
all that good stuff for college. That way it's not so imbalanced and kind of wild, wild west.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Possibilities, God knows which way we go.
Yeah. Who
It's
knows which way we'll
insane.
go. But yeah, we'll see what this Mr. Beast drama sort of brings. I know it isn't confirmed, but he's thinking about it. And like I say, I think if he does it, it'll be great for ECU. It'll be great for college football, but it's what they're gonna do with it and how they're gonna regulate it in the future.
Mhm.
Because like we discussed, if it works, it's gonna happen a lot more. If it doesn't work, well then Mr. Beast just lost another 100 mil, which he's used to giving a lot of that type of money away to good causes and to people. So for content, and hey, this could just be a content scheme for him.
Exactly. No, it's
Yeah.
100% right.
Yeah. All right, I'll send you this for steak.
Forget who's winning the most medals. The real competition at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina might just be who burns the most 10,000 condoms, burns through the 10,000 condoms the fastest. In a headline that has literally nothing to do with bobsled or figure skating triples, the Olympic Village stash of free condoms was completely gone in just 3 days. Yes, 10,000 God. Most athletes even hit peak Valentine's Week vibes. Yeah, saw an article about that. Outrageous. Uh, and kind of crazy, they had the countdown to the number that yeah, 10,000 in 3 days. Any idea how many athletes are currently at the Olympics so we can kind of divvy up how many people per, like, were they just like given a quick little, to go bag and, just take a few handfuls, be safe,
I it's crazy. I don't know how many athletes. But like I say, I also don't think it's just athletes. I think it's like training staff, coaches,
Okay. Yeah.
um, all these other people, that show up to that Olympic Village.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you know what? At least they're being safe. Let's start there. But it's there. I wouldn't even call it a scandal, but just so much interesting news. I feel like out of this Winter Olympics in general. I feel like we read something crazy every day. Just like something like, oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And this is certainly one of them. And quite frankly, if you think about it, though, the general age group of everybody competing in the Olympics is like college age. So you take a bunch of, lack of a better word, just college age students,
Yeah.
put them all in a big campus, and what are you going to get? And from, many different countries.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, just, have a good time. What
It,
you do off the rink, the slopes, whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy. I looked it up. It's about between 2,900 to 3,000 athletes that show up. But it also
Okay.
includes coaches and team staff, medical personnel, delegation officials, team leaders from those countries. So You could say about like 3.5. So if you put the numbers up 3.5, everybody uses one. That's about three, partners you could say if they're doing that. But
Hmm.
just seeing those numbers, it's just insane. And I went down a little rabbit hole with this just because I was like, how is this
Yeah.
possible? Um, but there were like some interviews from the past. Kevin Garnett had one of like when he went to the Olympics. I don't forget which ones he shared about. It wasn't the Winter Olympics, summer, but I think it's the same in the summer.
Hmm.
But he's like he was in Olympic Village, and all of a sudden they just brought like a bunch of condoms, threw it like into this bucket, and he said everybody went and ran and grabbed it, and eventually there was like no condoms left, and he's like, it is insane, what they do, and he's like, he mentioned that like the NBA doesn't stay there because of just how high profile they are as athletes. I don't think they want to mix that, and they could get in trouble probably, do some
Oh
dumb
yeah.
thing. Some of these NBA players are not the smartest. You have Zion Williamson
Sure.
there. That guy's gonna be woo, going to town.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's gonna have a grand old time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy how it works. You kind of hear kind of like this side drama kind of going on, like you said in
Mhm.
previous Olympics. Like, it's been, for years of all this stuff. And yeah, no, it's crazy. I feel like you hear more about that than you do about like what food they're offering at the
Yeah.
food court. Even though I did get a food video, evidently the lava cake is a pretty big deal
Okay.
over there. Looked decent, except the video I watched, it was a American athlete compared it to a Chili's lava cake. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know.
From her words, it was a taste of America. So, definitely Americanized cuisine there. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting aspect of things that,
Hmm.
you can't just think about like, what goes on, in these games, but like outside of them. There's a lot of downtime. You're there for, what, 3 weeks, about a
Yeah.
month even.
Hmm.
So, it's quite some time. You're locked up in there,
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you go off campus? Like, is there rules or?
Well, I think it's like a whole city. So from what I've read, it's like apartments that they live in. There's a place that they all go hang out. They have games, like game
Oh,
rooms. And
okay.
and like I say, I think it's like all and you can sort of look at it like this way, like all these athletes train for these sports for so many years,
Hmm.
giving up their lives just to be hardcore training, bobsledding, skiing, snowboarding, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden they get to this place, and from what some of the things I've read is like, people from countries that haven't experienced other countries, like, seeing Brazilian people, like for them that's just so exotic, then that I think it vice versa, and it's just gets people there, and like I say, all this pressure's finally off after they've done their competition and they're there for a few days. They just got a release. I guess it makes sense, but man, like I say, these youngsters nowadays are going to start training for Olympics. You're going to see everybody training for Olympics, that's like 12 or older, younger. Like, all right,
Oh
I got to
yeah.
get there when I'm 18.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a crazy aspect. Is it a roommate situation as well? Do you know? Is that
Yeah,
how it works?
I think it's usually someone from like your either your sport, your country that you know pretty well.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, that bobsled, what is it, the skeleton? Or
Hmm.
where it's like one person on top of the
Oh
other.
yeah.
And I'm sure that's your roommate. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, can you leave for a second? Yeah. And then yeah, give them some time. But hey, you know what? At least they're supplying it.
Hmm.
I don't know. We got to see. I, you could really deep dive into this, John. You could think about like how many kids were conceived out of Olympic Village in
Like I
the
said, that
past.
that's the one thing I was thinking is like how many of these people end up being like maybe single parents because they hooked up, someone from Turkey hooked up with someone from Uruguay,
Yeah,
and it's just like, hey, we're just having fun, condoms are not 100% protective, so it's like
sure.
it's just crazy to think of like, man, that's how much this stuff happens, and it's like, you know, I don't know. It's crazy to think because
Yeah.
I saw another video. Micah Richards. If you
Mhm.
watch football, especially during Champions League, he does all the Paramount Plus previews, talking about it
Mhm.
with Thierry Henry. Uh, but he talked about when he went, like about like the whole condom thing, and he was younger when he went, and he was like, "Man, I was just partying it up." Like he was having fun because he was young,
Yeah.
fit, and he was like, it was just that type. And I was like, "Man, that's
Yeah.
insane."
Hey, you know what? Honestly, yeah, like you mentioned, good place to, I don't know, kind of let loose. If you're single,
Uh,
and you trained hard for the last 3.5 years, 4 years, and now you're just kind of enjoying Olympic Village, the success that you made it, and even if you medaled,
uh,
and then yeah, see what's out there.
uh,
It's especially when you're in a foreign country like that, it's different vibes. So, you know, um, yeah, no, it's such a crazy aspect of things that not a lot of people think about. Um, yeah, kind of shows where my FYP goes with the food thing, though. I get more of
Yeah.
that.
No, yeah. And like I say, I think it's because I've been watching so much Olympics and just looking up a lot.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
One of the things I'm reading here, not all the condoms were used for sex. Some are grabbed as souvenirs or swag and even
Hey.
resold online. That adds a wild twist to the story.
Hmm.
And I saw that and I was looking it up right now. I don't know how accurate these condoms are, but this one's from Paris 2024. Someone's
Oh.
selling one for 124.99.
Oh,
It's,
wow.
it says Olympic Village condom, mint condition. What does mint
Hey.
mean?
Unused.
Unused?
Oh
Mint
man.
condition? Like that's already sketchy to me. Mint. It
Totally sealed.
has to be like new, not used.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Uh,
Do they have any autographs? Any autograph
I don't
copies
know.
on there?
So some sold. So one sold February
Oh wow.
14th of this year for $99.
Wow.
Yeah, another one.
How do you display that?
So if you look it up, it's like a little package, and it has like this one says score a win. Yes to consent, no to SED.
Wow.
That's
Hey,
insane.
uh-huh.
Uh, I'm gonna start looking these up a little bit because I'm just curious what some of these sayings are because that's crazy.
That's just crazy. It's like you walk into somebody's like, basement,
Uh,
man cave. Here's the Jordan jersey, the Larry Bird, the Olympic condoms.
just in a little case or
Yeah,
something.
little case. Yeah.
Uh, Says
Uh,
fair play, safe play, consent first. Okay, good
yeah.
message.
Yeah.
Uh. Don't share more than victory. Protect yourself against STDs.
Ah,
On the field of love, play fair. Ask for consent.
hey,
So, like I say, all positive messages,
that's great.
but
That's really good.
how much they're giving away? I'm like, dang, that's crazy. 10K in 3
Could
days.
Yeah, no, that is crazy. That is crazy. Maybe they see the resale market and they're like, hey, you know what? That
Yeah.
extra $500 if I sell all three would be great. But I'm curious, can you send anything into PSA to have them verify it, like certify it? Like, can you imagine getting a 10 gem mint?
Imagine. That'd
Yeah.
be crazy.
Yeah.
They don't have one on eBay right now, but who knows?
Damn.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like I say, I think it's just that number that just sort of threw me off, and I'm like, man, and it makes sense, people picking it up, but it's like, we talked about it last week a little bit, and we'll go into more Olympics in a while, but a lot of these Olympic stars, they're not making their fortune from going to the Winter Olympics or even Summer Olympics. They all have normal jobs, Some people are teachers, some people are librarians, some do Uber Eats because, like I say, that's how they make money, and then they go training. But it's like if you work in an office, like I say, any anytime you go out for vacation, you always try to bring souvenirs to your people at your office. people picking these condoms up and just dropping them off. How would you feel
Yeah.
if like your coworker did that? Yeah, hey, you got a gold medal, but here, souvenir for you, condom. Stay safe. It's like
Yeah.
what?
Can you imagine you share a cubicle with somebody and they're like, "Hey, Bill, you bring back that condom I asked for?" Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think that's
Ah,
like a call to HR immediately, man.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, Chad gave it to me.
It's
Well,
insane.
we're real happy you're an Olympian, but yeah, probably not at work.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Crazy.
but like I say, kudos to them for promoting safe, sex, all that, from what some of this eBay shows, just consent, which it is the first piece, but a crazy number. We'll see what they probably give out, or the estimated numbers of what they gave out by the end of the Olympics, the Winter Olympics will be. Um, but like I say, having a shortage of 10,000 condoms, it just sounds insane.
That is insane. That's a big number. It's a big
Yeah,
number.
yeah. So, but that's our banter takes. As always, with our banter takes, agree or disagree, drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear where you stand on the banter takes of the week for us. But we'll continue with some Olympic talk. We'll go into quite a few different subjects. First one, curling drama. Been a lot of drama with Team Canada, men's, and I also saw women's.
Oh,
It's funny because it's something that we've never seen. Some of the sportsmanship I saw, what was it? Canada versus, was it Sweden? Or
um, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
Swedish. Yeah, because the newspapers are going after him. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So, but the Canadians cheating by sort of keeping their finger on the stone once it crosses the green regulation line where you can't be touching or moving the stone at all. Um, it's the first time I've ever seen drama in curling, and it just made it so much more interesting. How they smack
Mhm.
talked each other, um, and from what I have heard is the reason that they were caught is that the Swedish team was aware that they might be cheating, and they set up a camera right where that green line is to sort of see, and they caught him and they called him out.
They caught that, just that little finger nudge,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That little touch. And maybe that's just, a technique that Canada's adopted, and we're like, hey,
Yeah.
you can kind of get away from this, act like you're just pointing it, go that way.
Yeah.
And, instead you're just giving a gentle nudge forward a little bit more. Um, it's definitely news
Hmm.
to, folks like us,
Yeah.
a rule that we didn't think of. Just I think the controversy around curling, it's good for the sport in a way.
Hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
like it brings even more attention to it. It's more than just, the mustaches,
Yeah.
the attire of, some, and um, it's just kind of eye-opening.
Hmm.
I also heard that you shouldn't, I think, the language, you use, like, no curse words is a
Yeah.
pretty big deal from what I've heard. Um, I don't know if this is confirmed. I heard the Canadians were kind of cussing a bit.
Yeah. I think I heard that
Um,
too.
yeah, and incredibly frowned upon. Just it's kind of a double whammy in a way.
Hmm.
First, you're fingering the stone, and then you're gonna cuss about it.
Yeah.
Not cool, not cool, man. So yeah, yeah. Does how do bans work? Would you get a future ban of Canadian curling? It's probably a
Uh,
big sport.
it's probably big up there. I don't think they've ever dealt with this, so it's something that they're gonna have to start, enforcing. Um, I think what would happen is more clear-cut rules on curling, where if you're found cheating, either that stone gets eliminated, you're disqualified, you lose points, whatever it could be. But what I've always read about curling, it's a gentleman's sport. You got to be professional, be fair. I think you guys there's officiating, but officiating's just there for the big things. It's like you guys score each other almost with cornhole. It's like when you play cornhole, you know the rules. You
Yeah.
keep your own scores. You guys talk about it amongst yourself, and it's like if it gets to a point where like you don't know, it's like that's where you bring the judge in. I think
Mhm.
that's what curling does a little bit. So we'll see, but I think that's what it would be. It's just implementing more rules of like what would happen if they do cheat that way. Because from what I've heard and seen, it is considered cheating what Canada has done.
Yeah. Yeah. They're calling it the double touch.
Hmm.
Um, not necessarily incidental contact. Yeah, it's all over. You just
Yeah,
see his finger just pointing.
just a little. Toot.
Just yeah, and 40-pound stone, yes, but that extra nudge, could give
Hmm.
that extra momentum needed to knock somebody else's stone out.
Hmm.
Oh, quick thing about the stone. Appreciate the commenter who commented saying it is the stone. We,
Yeah,
we called it disc, a few other things last week.
yeah,
I think we came to terms with disc, but stone, I think, is
stone.
more
Yeah.
commonly used. So good to
Hmm.
know. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for that, the commenter.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just crazy. It's very competitive. Um, we'll see. I don't know if there's been, much repercussion so far, but certainly the Swedish newspapers are calling them out. I think they're on front foot, um, calling them cheats,
Yeah.
Canadian cheats.
Ooh,
Um, they're pissed.
those are fighting words
They're pissed.
in the sport.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's maybe cheat is worse than an F-bomb on
Yeah.
the curling stage.
Yeah, we'll see what comes from it, but yeah, it's been interesting. U.S. has done well. I don't think I think the women's team won. Did they win gold? I think they won gold for the first time in the women's team, so kudos to them.
Hmm.
But yeah, USA's making a run in curling, so that's a little bit with the curling. Next one, Chloe Kim, snowboarding. I think as many people know, Chloe Kim back to back coming into this Olympics as gold medalist in the half pipe, um, winning silver. She lost to, I think it was, I don't know if it was China or Japan, but a 17-year-old snowboarder, up and
Whoa.
coming. She was excited for her, but some of the drama or some of the rumors and just stories I've read, and hey, I believe it a bit. They're saying ever since she got into a relationship with Miles Garrett, so the Cleveland Browns defensive end, she has some Browns curse now because she was back-to-back golds
Oh,
and she got together with a Brown and now she lost out on gold and went to silver. So hopefully it's not true, but you know, uh, while he's in Cleveland, it might be.
man. Yeah. No, the curse could be, you know, brought to other people,
Yeah.
clearly. Chloe Kim, very dominant in her sport.
Hmm.
To come up with silver, yeah, up and comer. As you mentioned, obviously phenomenal to beat Chloe Kim.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miles Garrett, lots of footage on him being in attendance for this
Hmm.
as well. Supportive. It's awesome. They seem like a great couple. Seem happy. So,
Hmm.
very cool to see. Obviously, Miles Garrett coming off of a big NFL season. But yeah, I guess the individual accolades don't pass on, necessarily, and it's just no, you adopt what the Browns are,
Yeah.
and that's second place or worse.
Yeah, like I say, second place, the silver isn't bad, but man, someone that has won back-to-backs and is still a dominant figure in the sport, not being able to win gold and being connected now to the Cleveland Browns, people are gonna go with this narrative for quite a bit. So let's
Oh yeah.
hope Chloe Kim could find a way to change that narrative. Maybe she's the change the Browns need. Her being part of the Browns organization. Maybe they're on their way to silver, which is finally making the playoffs and winning a few playoff games. But we'll
Mhm.
see what happens this year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's see what happens this year. If they can pull it around, then next Olympics will be in the States, right? Utah?
No, next
Is
one
that
is somewhere else. It's the one after that. I think it's like
got it?
38 or something or 32.
Okay. Yeah, if it's in 32 or no, 34, right? 34.
Yeah,
Yeah, because 2020.
yeah,
Um, so that would be what, 8 more years? Should be in her 30s, maybe still competing, right? For snowboarding.
yeah. I think she will be.
Maybe that
Yeah,
8 years probably gives the Browns enough time to do something.
yeah.
Maybe, well, I don't know.
It's a hard
That's
one.
tough.
It's
That is
hard.
tough. Yeah, I don't know if they can do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Eight years.
I saw somewhere the Browns are paying their quarterback the most this next season.
The Browns are paying their quarterback the most. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
Deshaun Watson. He's making the most
Oh,
out of an NFL
wow.
player at the quarterback position this coming
See,
year.
that's why I was confused because I didn't even think of Deshaun Watson right now. I can't believe he's still there. That's
He's still
that's
part of
just
the Browns, which is
insane.
insane, and making the most money
Wow.
out of all these current NFL quarterbacks is insane.
That's crazy. And he hasn't touched the field in what, 2 years?
I don't even know how long.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that's outrageous. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't even think you start him over Shadir with that.
yeah,
Man.
it's crazy.
Yep.
So, but yeah, but that's Chloe Kim news. A few other ones that are on my radar that I've been watching. Ilya Malinin, uh, the men's U.S. Olympic figure skater. You sent
Hmm.
me the video from his team performance. I showed Vera it. We were stunning, man. What he did for that team event with,
Hmm.
had a little fumble during it, not a big one, but making it up with that backflip. Man, that backflip was just clean. And then
Oh yeah.
this guy's outfit and his hair, blaze of glory.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Heaters roll. Yeah,
Yeah.
just unreal. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. I'm jealous because, I clearly don't have the mop on my head like he does.
Uh,
Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, to do a backflip, wasn't it? That's a banned move for a while, wasn't it?
I can't say yes or no because I'm not the biggest figure skater, but it could be because it is a dangerous and it's
Yeah.
tough, you know.
I wanna say, I was watching or listening to the Dan Patrick show. I think they had Tarico on, who covers the Olympics, and they were talking about, Ilya a little bit. And I think they brought up the flip was banned for a
Hmm.
little bit of time. They brought it back. And I think that move alone is such a separator. Like it's not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of people want to take that risk.
Hmm.
But I want to say that was a banned move for a little bit.
Oh yeah, in mid 2024, the ISU officially removed backflips from banned element lists.
There you go.
Yeah,
So very recent, it was
yeah,
re-implemented. So, um, yeah, it looks like he's been practicing that, well
yeah.
beyond 2024 with how good he is with it. Yeah, I kind of saw an article that, and I'm kind of reading it right now again, that he admits he was not ready to handle the pressure of
Hmm.
the free skate. And as he gets older and competes more
Yeah.
in the Olympics because he's still very young, right? I don't know his age.
Yeah, I think
Um,
he's like 21,
oh
22,
wow.
but I think because he's won so many competitions first, was the favorite, I think, in this category for the Olympics,
Mhm.
where I think he was overall first, but then his free event really struggled, a lot of falls and fell to eighth. I think a lot of that pressure hit him. And also just all the expectations, I think, because all the talk was like, this guy's unique. He is one of the greatest right now. And it was a lot for him, but he seems to be doing a lot better right now from what I've seen in some of his interviews. Some of the people reaching out to him, just staying positive with him. I think it was like Tom Brady reached out to him,
Steph
and
Curry, Simone
Steph Curry.
Biles, Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg. Very
yeah.
cool.
So a lot of people backing him up, supporting him, and I think it's gonna help him build and be ready in 4 years because this guy's gonna come with some Blaze of Glory type of moves that you've never probably gonna be expecting.
I think of that Will Ferrell move. When they throw Will Ferrell up in the air and he's doing the flip, and then, John Gladiator does the flip and the blade barely like just chops off part of
Yeah. Yeah.
his 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
I've seen that clip a bunch lately because
Yeah.
of
So,
that. Um,
yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And then quick other thing with people that reached out for some reason when I pictured Snoop Dogg reaching out, does he say like take it easy, Pacini?
He could be. Who knows?
Such a chill guy. It's
Yeah.
so funny. But yeah,
But
no, incredible.
yeah, but that's Ilya. Another one that, was sort of I saw a little bit of it, but read the story. Elena Myers Taylor. She won gold medal in the mono bobsled, so the single
Oh,
bobsled, at 41. And it's her first ever
whoa.
gold medal. She's been to the Olympics 5 times, so a great way to probably end her bobsled career as the gold medal winner. So kudos to her. I saw the video. She was so stoked, just seeing how excited and you know just getting there. Awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First Olympics, Vancouver 2010. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, props to her. That's incredible. And I've seen a lot of clips on like the luge, the bobsled. In we saw that first person footage of it. Like at first it's like I could do that.
Yeah.
This looks like you're going down a little ramp. But when you watch from like the drone or,
Mhm.
just stationary cameras,
Yeah.
it is a blur how
Yeah.
fast they are going. It is outrageous. So, yeah, I think just bobsled, you
Hmm.
know, single, doubles, full team,
Yeah.
incredibly underrated.
Yeah.
Just the sheer courage
Hmm.
it takes to do it is
Yeah.
is insane.
It's insane, and I don't know if you've heard like the conversations, Tim. Like I've heard some other people talking about it on podcasts and reports, but people saying like some of these Olympic sports aren't real sports because anybody could get off the couch and do them. And we would
Mhm.
joke around about that, like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. Can I do curling? Yeah, I know how to sweep. I could stand on ice. A lot of this stuff. But honestly, like being real, I don't think many of us can because you need to have the discipline. You really have to train for all this stuff. Doing this bobsled or luging, like one mistake, you're going like 80, 90 miles per hour on ice just with a tight like wetsuit and a helmet. Man, you're gonna be tore up from one crash. So you need to know how to do that because you could actually die from these type of sports. And I don't think it's that easy the way people say. So, like I say, we joke around about it, but in all honesty, these athletes are amazing athletes.
Yeah, no, I think that's why we keep our jokes to like the jobs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we could take the spray bottle
Yeah,
and
I
like,
could do
just
that one. I still
yeah.
might get hurt, doing that.
Yeah,
I'll
the
slip a few
moonwalk, it's
times.
impressive.
Yeah.
The leaf blower one, yeah, yeah, that's I think pretty confident we could do that. It'd be a lot of
Yeah.
fun because you get to be
Yeah.
there. Um, but I completely agree. I've seen the same.
Yeah.
With the talks of it. And I want to say skeleton was a big one where they're
Hmm.
like, um, I think the amount of time of people training for it was something like 3 years is,
Hmm.
to the Olympics is when they start. But if you're doing it consistently for 3 years,
Yeah.
it's a lot that
Hmm.
can go into it. And sure, maybe it's a different set of skills. It doesn't mean that
Hmm.
it's any easier though. Like
Yeah.
I saw some footage, like I know that like the turns and everything were always pretty wicked, but some of the turns with bobsled are literally vertical.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you could lay flat like a
Hmm.
bed on it and just lean against it. Like it
Yeah.
is completely vertical. And I just can't imagine like how do the core strength it takes to like probably keep upright because I mean, my belly would just be like,
Yeah, it
sink
would take me
down.
to the side and just crash immediately.
Or just like, we're hitting the curb over and over again
Yeah.
as we go around
That's
it.
what it
Can't
would
even
be.
get up on the edge. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, crazy. I agree though. I
uh,
think it's just keyboard warriors,
yeah.
just going at it.
Yeah, it's crazy because like even like the cross country skiers, I think we shared videos and we shared it in our other group text message. But that one guy going uphill, it's hilarious how he looks. But man, that guy's going 15 plus miles per hour in snow. Like I heard someone say like people should let normal people that don't train for this just try this before the Winter Olympics to show how hard it actually is. Because
Oh yeah.
me trying to go 15 miles per hour uphill in snow, I'd make it 10 steps before I probably pass out.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like, when can you take the skis off? Because I'd be
Yeah.
worried I'd start heading back down the hill
Yeah.
at a certain point. Be like, I would just
Yeah.
probably give up and be like, you know what? I tried.
Yeah.
Then here
Yeah.
we go. But and it also takes me back to that other video of, I think, like somebody wiped out, on the downhill, and then that guy eating like a piece of prosciutto on his couch with the belly out, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what a loser!" And he's like eating. That's how I
Uh,
picture a lot of the people that throw slander at Olympic athletes, because
yeah.
you don't know until you're there, and
Yeah.
we've prefaced that a lot, and
Yeah.
that's why we know better, John. That's why we're
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, we could, leaf blow
Mm.
some ice.
Yeah.
The flag, I think the flag thing's pretty cool. I was watching the big jump, the big air
Oh
with
yeah.
the skiing. Super fun competition to
Yeah.
watch. And I really like how, the starting point, each country has their own like little mini flag, and
Yeah.
then, we could do that
Yeah.
for America.
We could
Just
we could yeah, just put it
a little
down.
whistle. Yeah, little whistle.
Yeah, no, we could do that, but yeah, it's just one of those things I keep on thinking and looking because like I was watching some of the biathlon and I'm like I don't know if I could do that because I'm like you have to ski to a certain place and then shoot five targets. I'm like after going that fast, like I'll be breathing and I'll be like this the whole time breathing so deeply that I couldn't even hit the target. Where some of these people get five in a row so quick. I'm like, you have to be so trained. So, kudos to all these athletes because, like I said, I know they do a lot of training and it's not easy. So, keyboard warriors, I think you guys could do it. I dare you to try to go do it. I know I sent you a video of people practicing or trying to do curling. Maybe next time you're here, we'll find a place. I think here in Simi, I think the ice rink does some curling
Oh,
some days. So
nice.
we could
Hell
look
yeah.
into it and just go record ourselves, do a little vlog of
That'd be
like how hard
hilarious.
it actually is. And hey, if we do well, it's our Olympic training video.
Yeah.
It might be a calling for us.
I would shave all this and just keep the stash
Yeah.
if that was the case. I we yeah, I
Yeah.
that's all I got. And then,
I'll
a
do
tucked in
the
polo.
muttons. I'll shave all this and just keep all this right
Perfect.
there. Perfect.
Nailed it. Oh man, the duo would be phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That would be so great. Yeah.
uh,
No, I mean, yeah, don't knock it until you try it. And, I think that's a phenomenal idea. I'd love to
yeah.
at least, go, because that's something like, we're not going to go try figure skating, John.
No.
We can go try curling though.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
walking on ice is going to be tough enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Definitely would give it a go. And I was thinking about, just the biathlon, and you go up there shooting the target. I can just picture, like, if you or I would go up there and we're like missing the target, it's the bullets are ricocheting. The crowd clears.
I know. It's like the
Oh,
crowd's like,
here they
oh,
come.
here come these two Americans. Oh man.
Yep, that's how it'd go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everybody clear out.
they'll start installing like bulletproof glass for the contest or for the
Yep,
spectators so we don't hit them.
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
crazy.
Safety for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. And and then one of the last things for me, at least from this week that I've read, Eileen Gu. I don't know if you've heard
Oh,
of her, the freestyle
yes, for Team
skier.
China, right?
Yeah, Team China. So a lot of drama with her. One of the top skiers, freestyle skiers, but drama because born in the U.S., gone to school in the U.S., but representing
Hmm.
China. Um, a lot of people are bringing her down. I've read that she's gotten death threats and stuff like that. But like, in my honest opinion, I have nothing against it because, maybe when she first tried to qualify for freestyle skiing, she didn't make the team. And it's like some of these people, you see it in all sports, you see it in even NBA. Like some of these basketball players are going to different countries because they're not making Team USA. I forget who's going to Australia. There's been some players like Clay going to the Bahamas, representing the Bahamas instead of USA just because there isn't room for him on Team USA. So I haven't read into it too much, but I'm like Eileen Gu, like when she was younger, she probably didn't make Team USA, but China, her parents are from China, have citizenship there, and China was probably like, yeah, you'll be a top person here. And from what I've read, China also has given a lot to her training, paid for a lot of stuff. So they're really helping their athletes. So I have nothing against what she's done.
Yeah, no. And I mean, can't you relate stuff like this with, the World Cup?
Hmm.
Like qualifying, you
Yeah,
can do it even with, baseball.
yeah.
Just different athletes can compete for different countries depending on, family history.
Hmm.
It's something that I don't understand the difference, when it comes to Eileen as well. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I see her mother, first generation Chinese immigrant to the United States. Her father is American.
Hmm.
So yeah, it seems like a very ordinary thing to do. I see nothing
Hmm.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool, if your family lineage and your participation, you want to, honor your family. Maybe it comes down to something like that too,
Hmm.
why not?
Yeah.
It's the Olympics. I think that's what makes it so cool is that,
Hmm.
you can participate in that form. Like you're not held to necessarily your country and you can implement something like that with
Yeah.
heritage. So, yeah, props to her. Do they, maybe people are hating more because she's good at what she competes in as well. I see that she
Hmm.
has quite a few medals going back
Yeah.
to the 2020
Hmm.
or 2022 Olympic Games. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's probably what it comes down to. She's
Yeah.
good, so it matters. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it matters. Like I say, I also think about like soccer because like with Team USA, there's so many, the USA, it's a culture melting pot of so many different countries of people coming here to live, and it's like there's only so many spots to be a part of that Team USA that go to the World Cups, that go to the Olympics, and it's like there's a lot of these players that try out for USA, they don't get pulled, but then they go to their parents' home country, Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, whatever it is, because it's like, hey, I want to be part of this. I want to, I'm in the professional leagues, but I just want to go to the Olympics. I want to go to the World Cup, and this is their shot. So it's
Mhm.
what they do. So like I say, I have nothing against what she's done. She won silvers this year, and a lot of people are like bringing that up if it was a disappointment for her. And honestly, she's won gold before. She won silvers. It shows the competition's getting better, and you know what? It's gonna motivate her. I think she's still like 21, 22. She'll be in multiple Olympics. So. It's crazy of all the drama and negativity that's going towards her for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, she is the highest paid Olympic
Hmm.
participant, $23 million
Yeah.
this season. Um, Kind of going down the list. Austin Matthews, hockey for Team USA, 20
Hmm.
million. I don't know if they're implementing his salary with the NHL
Yeah,
in
they
that.
are.
Um, so for her to beat an NHL salary on top of what he gets in the Olympics,
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just goes to show. I mean, yeah, and then
Yeah.
you get to another, high performer of Chloe Kim, and she's, earning a lot of money, $4 million. But in comparison,
Yeah.
this is why people are coming after her. But
Hmm.
it's unjustified. Obviously, she's great at what she does. 22
Yeah.
years old. Definitely
Yeah.
many more competitions to come.
Hmm.
But that's what the Olympics is all about. It's competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I saw she only makes 100K only comes from her competitions. The rest is just endorsement, sponsorship. Some of her big ones, Louis Vuitton, Porsche, Tiffany and Company.
Wow.
So it's like those are already big companies, and honestly, Why could that be? It could be because she's representing China and China has a good relationship with these companies. Who knows, So,
Mhm.
her doing this isn't just for herself, it's for her family and generational wealth. Because at this age, making 23 million, and if she could stay at this trend for the next two, three Winter Olympics, like I said, generational wealth that she's going to have for her, her current family, and her future family, set for life if you invest it wisely.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and I see she went to Stanford as well. So very bright,
Yeah.
obviously, to, get into such a great university as well. So um, yeah, props to her. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, very cool. But that's my big Olympic takes from this week since our last conversation. Anything else for you, Tim, that you've seen?
I think that was the biggest stuff. I tried to
Uh,
watch a little bit more through Peacock,
hmm
the app, and the Big Air was a lot of fun to watch. I will say the difference between some of the competitors
hmm
is insane. Like,
Yeah.
everybody goes a long ways, but you'll have some of the earlier jumps that go, for example, maybe like 100 meters. But then
Yeah.
as you go down the line, like they get up to like close to 140 meters
Yeah.
at times and even further. It's crazy. Like everybody's elite being in the Olympics, but then there's like elite of the elite. And you
Yeah.
see it in one competition. So
Yeah.
very cool. But yeah, crazy. And then
Yeah.
I was thinking about the just the suits as well
Oh
with
yeah.
the the controversy there. And that was
Oh
just the topic going through my mind. I was talking to Jen while we were watching and kind of explaining the aerodynamics of the
yeah.
suit and how important it is to have as much slack as you possibly can get everywhere.
Yeah.
You want it to be that kind of bat suit thing and fly.
Yeah. It's crazy because they're like male athletes are injecting, I forget what it is, but just to make their junk bigger because it gives you more length in
Hmm.
the jump, not generally in your junk, but the jump,
Yeah.
it's just something I don't think anybody ever thought about. It's the first time the sport's been going around and this competition's been in the Winter Olympics for so long. Why is it finally coming? Are people just experimenting and doing things to get better? And is it going to be a PED going into the future? Is my question too.
Right. Yeah. Imagine they're like, wow, Mark, we measured you back in 2020. Like,
Grew
it's
two
quite the
inches right
increase.
there. What's up with
Yeah. What's
that?
your secret?
Yeah,
Ask
yeah,
me for a
yeah.
friend.
You're not a young guy anymore. You're 40. How is that so growing? It
Yeah.
should be getting smaller as
Right.
you get older.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
man.
it's
Yeah, it's
insane.
like, yeah, it's crazy. But see, that's what I was talking about. Like, I feel like we get something every day out of the Olympics. It's been
We
great to
do.
cover. This is
Yeah.
our first time having the podcast and being able to cover Winter Olympics.
hmm
Very, very excited now for
hmm
World Cup and Summer Olympics coming up
Summer
in a few
Olympics,
years.
yeah.
But good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah,
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
for
So so
what's to
so
come.
yeah, well, we'll continue covering, sharing some of the big news that we see, news reports, and just drama from Olympics. But we'll go into NBA All-Star Weekend and some more drama, some duds. First one, we'll start with the dunk contest. Biggest news fest, man. I was watching a lot of, or I didn't even watch it. I was watching highlights of it, and after like two different highlights, I just cringed, and I was like, "This is horrible." Why they picked these players too, I have no idea because I don't even think a majority of them are even starters, or I've never even seen dunk as much during NBA games. So big dud for me. Take it away. If you're not going to be serious about it, just take it away. Don't even do this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I saw so many clips about it because like when growing up, I'm sure you were a bit like this too, John. Like
Yeah,
NBA All-Star Weekend, I was glued to the couch. I would watch. I would be pissed if I missed something or missed a few minutes of like, and I would watch start to finish. At this time growing up, as in like I don't have a job, I'm still in school, blah blah blah. But like, yeah. the celebrity game was always fun to watch, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun with that. Then, you move on into like a skills competition. You have, rookies versus sophomores back in the day. You had, um, the dunk and 3-point competition. And 3-point
Hmm.
competition was a ton of fun because it was super competitive. Everybody tried, Peja Stojakovic days,
Hmm.
just ultra competitive. And then, you have dunk competition. Me growing up, Retro Warriors
Yeah.
logo, love this logo. I wish they would bring it back a little bit more. But Jason Richardson, one of my all-time favorites, players of top five for me. He, the through the legs 360 dunk he did in the dunk
Hmm.
contest years ago it was Vince Carter-esque,
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And he would just bring it and did it in such a flashy way. And then we fast forward to this past weekend when his son competed, and I think I had a tough fall. I hope he's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Not trying to laugh too much, but like it was a shocking because it's like I don't know if it was the pass. I don't know if it was
I
like
don't know.
what they were going for, but that it was a highlight, but in all ways that I think you'd expect the NBA All-Star game to go at this point.
Hmm.
I keep seeing clips of the Jackson Hayes dunk trying to like replicate a free throw line dunk, and it was just something that you would do on a fast break, on any other night. He had a nicer through the legs dunk earlier in a regular season game than he
Yeah.
did during the competition. And then uh, you go on and you have Damian Lillard winning the 3-point contest, and he's not
Hmm.
even going to play this season. I was shocked to even see he was there.
Yeah.
Um, I just
It makes no
I
sense
don't.
to
It
me.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
And was listening to a radio show last night. Coming back from the store, and they were talking a little bit about Mac McClung. And I know we shared that
Hmm.
clip of, McClung kind of he was getting ready some dunks to compete and, looked like he was going to entertain it, but
Hmm.
he decided not to. And I guess, for the reason of he feels like he's been tossed around a lot by the NBA, two-way contracts constantly. He's
Hmm.
been from team to team, and he's been such an incredible talent, and he wants to be known for more than just dunking.
Hmm.
There's more to his game. He plays very well in the G League. I don't really understand why he still lingers in the G League as much as he does,
Hmm.
because I think he's an NBA player,
Yeah.
quite frankly. Certainly his athleticism justifies it. But him backing down, because it would have been like what his fourth win, and it's like
Yeah.
at that point, what's the point? Like further
Yeah.
concluding that he's a dunk or nothing.
Yeah, yeah, it made sense for him, but I also heard, and like I said, these could be rumors, but I heard a lot of other NBA players said that they wouldn't compete if Mac McClung was participating because they knew they couldn't compete with what he would bring, and it's sort of like, if you can't bring it, don't even compete. Like, why do we want you there? We want you to be unique. We
Yeah.
want you to be different and not just do some basic stuff because like you mentioned, as a kid, I used to like watching All-Star Weekend for 3-point contests, dunk contests, even skills challenge, and just a game overall Sunday. And I also remember NBA Live '05, '06. Do you remember that game?
Mm, of
So,
course.
so they had where you could do the dunk contest, and I remember with my
And it was
college
so
roommate,
hard.
it was so hard, but it was so fun because you would
Oh
just
yeah.
do some craziest stuff, and that's what was so fun about the dunk contest. And it has gone away quite a bit, and especially this year, it was just like I said, it was trash. It was horrible. Those clips, those players should be ashamed that they did that and not try unique things. Try something unique, and if you fail, you fail. But like I said, you know you're in it. You know you got to practice something crazy. Just practice it. You guys are professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it comes down to. And maybe the players that are participating
Hmm.
probably, quite frankly, have a little bit more time to do so because
Yeah.
they're not in the starting lineups usually
Yeah.
nowadays. So it's like, yeah, you can practice a little bit on the side after practice,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but yeah, we are so far removed from, anything elite about the weekend. NBA All-Star weekend. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a big deal. I've been seeing a lot of people wanting to bring back one-on-ones
Hmm.
in I know evidently this is before our time, but I think like in the 70s, like they used to have like one-on-one competitions during games, like
Hmm.
halftime or something. And I would be kind of more down to watch that.
Hmm.
Like if you had Wemby versus Joker
Yeah.
and them going toe to toe in a game, like it's a different aspect of the game when you're playing one-on-one ISO
Yeah.
ball. Let's see who has the best
Hmm.
of it and can handle their own. And I think that would be fun to watch a guy like Anthony Davis go one-on-one because I think he'd be super elite in a
Yeah.
competition like that. Um, I think that'd be awesome. You got to
Yeah.
mix it up. It's such a
Hmm.
dud. If not, just make it an accolade like we're kind of pushing that the Pro Bowl turns into, because,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, because attendance in person just looked low for especially like Friday, Saturday competitions. It looked like the arena was pretty much empty. I feel like they probably were giving away seats and nobody was still going. But I
Yeah.
did see that this was one of their highest viewings at 8.8 million viewers on Sunday for the All-Star game.
Mm.
Um, Going off of, I think last year it was like seven or something. Some of the years before that, they only hit three to four, and it's the
Hmm.
most that they've had for the in like the last 7, 8 years of viewership. So, and I think one of the big reasons was the format that they were doing, the World
Yeah.
versus two USA teams, and I will say the first two games, World versus one, I don't know if it was Stars or Stripes. That first game, very good, very competitive. The World really brought
Yeah.
a lot of competition. The second game as well, very competitive, good. But the final, that one was a bit of a dud. Sort of didn't meet the intensity of those
Yep.
first two. So they could have something there. I still think something's missing. I don't think you'll get as many viewers next year if you just stay with the same format the way you're doing this year.
Yeah, I think that was the sole reason, was because people wanted to give it another chance with a new format and
Hmm.
see how it played out. I think people gave it that chance and probably realized like, yeah, with the way the final game went, it's like, you're
Yeah.
reciprocating kind of like the blowout games that we could see in previous All-Star
Hmm.
games, no defense or, just lopsided games.
Yeah.
I also saw this is the 11th All-Star game that LeBron James has lost. I think that's a record.
Ooh. Legacy,
Loser.
legacy right there. Wow.
Yeah. He didn't even play, right? But,
Yeah.
he's still on a losing team. Um, so there's that. Yeah, I don't know. Got to make mix something up. Wasn't overly impressed. And then I did see a lot of people were kind of pointing out the fact that Wemby was trying very hard, but Joker and Luca were very nonchalant
Hmm.
and not trying. And quite frankly, a lot of it is their style of game, and I think that Jokic and Doncic are there for the fun of it. Quite frankly, um, Victor, I think Wemby kind of takes it more serious. He's
Hmm.
younger. I think that he's going to be competitive no matter what, and I like that aspect about Wemby.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenal for the NBA. But I think Luca, he plays harder, I feel like, in regular season games than Joker does. Joker, the most avid you're ever going to see him is Olympic competition
Hmm.
or his horses.
Yeah.
And then like third is the Nuggets
Yeah.
and how well they do. And he just happens to win a championship or
Yeah.
MVP because he's that good.
Yeah. Yeah, and he makes it look so nonchalant, just like,
Yeah.
here's this move. Like it looks like he's not trying, but that's just his style. And I think the same with Luca. He has fun with it. It's a bit of his style. So why it looks like that, it makes sense. They were probably not going at 100, probably closer to that 80. But yeah, I liked how intense 1B was. I think he may be this generation that brings that intensity back from the old school days,
Yep.
and not some of this, this era that we've been dealing with, where the NBA just has been unwatchable.
Yeah, definitely. I think he does bring that aspect. I saw Jokic got in his for second year in a row, like questioning if why
Mm.
Wemby was bringing a book into the locker room, and
Yeah.
Wemby says, he reads before every game, and Jokic just laughs it off. Yeah, I think the most you get out of these weekends is like the off the court
Hmm.
jokes and side competitions. I know Mr. Beast had that that what half court shot
Oh
thing
yeah,
or three pointer,
yeah,
and they hit it at the buzzer. That was pretty cool. Um, Besides that,
yeah, yeah. There isn't much. I think, you made a good point where they should do it like a Comic Con type thing. Have every team have representatives from every team. Let fans go sign.
yep.
Bid for items that you guys are donating to charities, things like that. It would make it just so much more interesting. Because, like I say, from the looks of it, just in the arena, it looked like it was empty. It looks like we probably could have shown up and they would have given us free tickets just to go in.
Yeah. Yeah, did you see all the empty seats, but they put
Hmm.
like flashing lights by the seat to make
Yeah,
it look like cameras?
yeah,
It's so lame.
yeah,
It's so bad.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it's like, how do you guys not know that other people in that arena are gonna take pictures of everything and show the real of it? With the way social media is, you're not gonna
Yeah.
get away with it. You
Mm.
know, it's
Not at
crazy.
all. Yeah, not at all. Not at all. One final thing, kind of still NBA, but just not All-Star weekend. We make a lot of jokes about buffets here, with when it comes to McCarthy and stuff. There might be a new big buffet in town.
Uh,
I don't know if you heard the rumors of Kaminga and kind of the falling out.
oh yeah,
I guess, somebody affiliated with Jonathan Kaminga was evidently filling up at
yeah.
the buffet
I heard that.
at the Warriors. It's gotten a lot of mixed reviews. Steph Curry said that's ridiculous. Like that's such a non-story. And other folks are saying like, oh, a multi-billion dollar franchise can't afford, to feed everybody. And it's probably just one of those things where they buy a certain amount and they just hoard
Yeah.
it real quick. And but if it's free, yeah, I can't
I,
I can't hate it.
Like, like I say, I read it. I would laugh about it, but then I'd like sit in my head and I'm gonna be like, that'd be me.
Yeah.
That'd be me because, like I say, it's free. You know, like I say, I don't know where Kaminga's upbringing, his family upbringing is, but like, if you come from nothing, how some of these players do in some of their stories, where they come from like the lowest of the lows in their neighborhoods and finally making this money, being able to provide for your families. They come to your game. There's this free buffet that the team's throwing for your friends and family. Yeah, they probably have never tasted this food and they're just so excited and eating. It's like, why are you guys hating and shaming on that? Like I say, I'll admit, at first I was laughing about it, but as I processed it a little bit, I would be like, hey, guilty as charged. That would be me. That
Yeah.
I would be going for 4 plates, and if you judge me, I don't give an F because it's free. Unless you guys tell me like, hey, limit to 2 plates, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna fill up those 2 plates though. It's gonna be like this high.
Yeah, dead ass. If they have like to-go boxes, you're
Uh,
asking for some problems.
yeah,
Like, I'll fill up a plate to eat there. I'm
yeah,
gonna fill up a plate for home. Like,
yeah.
I get it. And knowing SF food, like I'm sure there like a staple is the crab sandwich.
Oh yeah,
Like especially at the ballpark. Like
yeah.
if they have a bunch of those, like the crisp
Hmm.
sourdough bread with the crab meat in the center with the
Yeah,
lemon. Ah,
yeah.
just I'm parking at least two before I get out of line,
Yeah.
and then more going in the box.
Yeah,
So I I'm not hating it. I
yeah.
know we joke about McCarthy, big buffet, but don't hate the player, hate the game. So
No, like I say, McCarthy, like that guy's a buffet savant. He went to Pittsburgh
oh
because they probably have some good ones. So I'm curious where
oh
he's gonna eat. Because if I ever go to Pittsburgh, I might want to try those buffets. Because if McCarthy's a fan of it, I'll be a fan of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, it's no shame. Like I say, if that's why the Warriors decided to trade him, I think it's more of a bad look on the Warriors than Kuminga. And like I say, if the Warrior, someone in the Warriors franchise is the one that leaked this story or this rumor, it's a bad look for the Warriors. So like I say, like what Steph said, like this isn't a story. You guys are digging into something too much. It's like, yeah, I don't think it's a story. Like I
Yeah.
say, I think a lot of people are probably still making fun of it of Kuminga. Like I say, I'll admit it. I laughed about it, but I'm honest. I'm always going to be honest. That would be me. That would be
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm sure that's why I'm laughing because I'm
Yeah.
right there with you. Like I could picture myself probably doing something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like, and if it's like every home game,
Yeah.
too easy.
Yeah, it's simple. Like I say, especially for these stadiums. Like I say, I'm gonna go on a little bit of the owners and stuff. You charging $10 for a hot dog? Psh, don't be complaining about giving out buffets to these players that are playing the game for you, and complaining that a family member takes maybe an extra plate or two normal than what you predicted people would take. It's like,
Yeah.
stop, just stop it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when, the players provide so much to the team and the value of that
Mhm.
franchise,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I know you shared that, and like I say, when I first read it, I laughed about it, but then I was like, I'm sorry, that's me too. I would do the same thing. So, anybody
Yeah.
that decides to invite us, if you have a buffet, just be ready for us because we'll be enjoying that pretty well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're a big buffet podcast, like
Uh,
to sling the jokes about them as well.
yeah.
Any buffet news that's out there in relation to sports or movies,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about
Yeah,
it.
for sure. But that's NBA All-Star. And we'll go back to for just the last little bit of our episode today recording. Little activity we did last week. So we were the eliminate one. I gave Tim two different categories, five choices, and he had to eliminate one. So I know Tim made one for me this week. I've made quite a few other lists, so I'll share one as well, and we'll go from there. And then, like I said, good. We had some good responses. I think a lot of people didn't like your Giants, San Francisco
Hated
Giants
it.
response.
Hated it. Yeah.
I don't know if they saw your other one, your Wolf Arrow one. I don't know if you posted that one fully or the clip of it.
Posted the full one. Got to do the clip of it.
Yeah,
I feel like it'll justify a little bit more. I will do the clip of it, but
yeah,
posted the full length of it. So definitely
yeah,
check that out.
yeah,
And you hear a lot more of the reasoning in that than you would in the short.
yeah,
But we went in depth, and my
yeah,
brain, I kind of brought everybody through like
yeah.
the life cycle of Will Ferrell. So,
Yes.
yeah, definitely these questions get you thinking. And I think
Yeah.
this first one here, John, we'll definitely do that for you. And
Okay.
let's call it a little bit of some payback time.
Okay.
So we got the Dodgers.
Okay.
Eliminate one all-time great Dodger. We're going to start with Sandy Koufax.
Okay.
We're going to move on to Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to consider him a great already.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw, Jackie Robinson,
Oh man.
and last but not least, Vin Scully.
Ooh.
Big list of legends with the Dodgers.
This is a big one. I think one that I already off the top of my head that I can't eliminate that I'm keeping Jackie Robinson. I think just what
Yep.
he did for baseball, being able to bring, what he did back then with being the only player of his color, in a predominantly white sport, you could say back then. Changed the game for so many people. So
Yep.
he's one that I would have to keep. Um, I'm keeping Vince Scully too. Like I say,
Hmm.
he's not a player, but just what he brought to the sport of baseball, his commentary, you could listen to it for hours. It's music to our ears. Once we lost him, he passed away, and even when he retired, it was different, and nothing against our current announcers. They do great, but it's not Vince Scully. The stories he brought to every game, not even planned, just based off whatever he was thinking, whatever was happening in the game, the conversations he was having, it was amazing. And like I say, I think a lot of people that would go to Dodger games would take their mini radios and be listening to Vince Scully while watching it live. So I think what he did for the announcing, because there are a few other announcers there now getting to that like Vince Scully level, but I don't think they'll ever pass him. So I'm gonna keep him. I think I'm gonna have to keep Sandy Koufax. I think just what he did,
Hmm.
in his time, peak player, one of the great pitchers of all time. Uh, I feel like I can't get rid of him. But this is where it gets hard. Clayton Kershaw did it for the Dodgers since he was a kid, a Dodger for life. And Shohei, yeah, Shohei's only been with us for 2 years, but what he's done for us in 2 years of World Series, what he's gonna do for us in the future, he's gonna retire a Dodger if he stays with us for the rest after this long contract that's for the rest of his life, pretty much. Oh man, this is so tough.
I love this.
So,
Hmm.
and I'm just thinking up to their career at the moment.
Sure.
I People are gonna hate me. I'm keeping Shohei. I'm keeping
Oh,
Shohei. I think what he's done for us in the first 2 years, I don't think we would have done. We wouldn't be back to backs without Shohei. And also what he brought into pitching this last season. Like I say, Yamamoto did a lot, but his bat, him, during the regular season, his clutchness gave us great momentum even when we struggled this last year. Playoffs, he has struggled a bit, but still has been clutch. Clayton Kershaw, during this run of back to backs, hasn't really done much. I
hmm.
think if you ask me about like the early part of his career, I think I would put him over Shohei if I was just looking at like 2 years. But Clayton Kershaw struggled in the playoffs. We had amazing teams where he needed to be the guy and just was never able to step up. I think even when we won World Series without Shohei, it wasn't because of Clayton Kershaw. One of the greatest left-handed pitchers, one of the most craziest curveballs I think in the game. Someone to remember, but I think what Shohei, and this is me just predicting the future, what Shohei is going to do for the Dodgers is going to be more generational than what Kershaw will do. Kershaw's going to go down in the history books as a Dodger for life, one of the greatest, but I think Shohei will surpass him in the next few years, if especially if they could win another World Series, go a three-peat.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You went the same direction I would have gone. I think any choice would have been extremely hard to make.
Yeah.
But it got down to the final two I thought it would with Ohtani and Kershaw. But what Ohtani's done his first 2 years there, obviously back to back, and what we can only imagine he'll continue to do,
Hmm.
um, is insane. And then, yeah, you look at, the scope of work of Kershaw, these last few years have not been good to him
Hmm.
for, age, injury. He's lost a lot of his stuff. What he did early on in his career, he was the most dominant pitcher in the game for
Hmm.
some time. But once he got older, he's starting to get hit harder and
Hmm.
it wasn't as good. So, and then it led even to the Dodgers of, keeping him off the roster or,
Hmm.
contemplating
Yeah.
those decisions longer than they probably ever thought they would.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree with you. Tough. Yeah, absolutely legends with, Jackie, Vin, and Koufax.
Hmm.
Vin, just the preference on him is, here in the Bay Area with the Giants, we're absolutely blessed with Dwayne Kuiper, Crook, and John Miller. John
Hmm.
Miller, famously, has been involved in a ton of different things, but um, we're and then Dave Fleming, of course,
Hmm.
but we're just, it's insane that we have all of those guys announcing Giants games.
Hmm.
And the Dodgers were so blessed to have Vin Scully going from announcing the career of Jackie Robinson all the way through, talking about Clayton Kershaw. Like
Hmm.
his career was so long.
Hmm.
And like I remember, I've been to Dodger Stadium a handful of times. I'll go to the restroom and you're listening to Vin Scully,
Hmm.
as you're using the John,
Yeah.
and it'll be like, and here's Dustin Pedroia, Dustin Pedroia from so and so town.
Yeah.
At the age of 12, he was doing this, and it's
Yeah.
like the stats and the info that he discovered. I don't even know if the players knew about
Yeah.
themselves. Like insane.
Yeah.
The preparation he would take. He was so old school, but his
Hmm.
delivery was immense. One of my favorite announcers of all time, and that comes from a long way of being a Giants fan. But yeah, he's second to none in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody's like him. Um, but yeah, no, tough, but good choice there, John.
Yeah.
Moving on, got the next one here for you.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Movie savant here.
Okay.
We're gonna go genres though. I'm not gonna
Okay.
go ultra specific, but we'll go genres with, anything. So category one, superhero movies.
Uh-huh.
Category two, comedies. Category three, horror movies. Category four, animated movies. And then number five, action. Action separate from superhero.
So, so action would be like Mission Impossible,
Mission Impossible, James
James
Bond,
Bond, stuff like that.
probably war movies you
Yeah.
could include. Saving
Okay.
Private Ryan, for example, I'd consider action.
Yeah. Okay. Um, First one I would keep is action movies. I think just what they've developed for so many years, even before like superhero and some of these other ones, especially superheroes, because I think that pretty much came up more popular with Iron Man and Marvel. I know we always had Superman, stuff like that, but it wasn't
Mhm.
as big of a category. But action was always around. So I think action's a big one. The next one I would keep keeping animated. I think just what animated has done throughout the years, and a big name, Walt Disney, Beauty and the Beast winning, being an Oscar winner, one of the first Oscar winning movies, to have, and everything they've done from Snow White. I know there's a lot of controversy of all the animated he did early on, but then what Pixar became, what DreamWorks became, and all these new movie studios doing animation. And honestly, some of these stories of animation have just honestly have touched my heart and really have enjoyed and still enjoy watching. So I would keep animated. Next is comedies. I think I would have to keep comedies. They're just so funny. They bring so much laughter, joy into our lives. Even the most dumbest comedy movies are still ones you watch over and over, even though it's like, why am I still watching this? Oh, that is why. When they
Yeah.
do something so hilarious that, like I said, this one also goes back to so many comedies back in the day. The Jerk with Martin Short, I think or not Martin Short, but yeah, The Jerk is one I think of, just with the gas station, um, and like SNL, all those old school SNL, Chris Farley, you know, Adam Sandler, those comedies, some of them are so dumb, but they're so amazing for us.
Mhm.
I think if wives would sort of do it, like do this list, they probably wouldn't put comedies in there because they
Mhm.
hate the comedies we watch all the time,
Oh, yeah.
over and over.
Anything stupid. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
always it's always a, oh, that's your comedy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It is like,
Yeah.
no, it's
Yep.
everybody's comedy.
Yeah.
Get it right, get it right.
Yeah.
Uh, All right, so then last two, horror and superheroes. If I go with everything I have in my knowledge from even pa in the past, I'm keeping horror. I think it's because I am a horror fan. I think what horror did so long ago with like the old school Exorcist, Poltergeist, so unique to their times. And horror is a genre that you have to like, and same with superheroes. But I think we've hit the superhero fatigue, and I don't think we've ever hit a horror fatigue. I
Mhm.
think what they've done with horror, they get creative, they do something different, and superheroes, I think they try to get creative, but it doesn't work out the same way, and the reviews are just worse, you know. I and like I said, this is for me. I think a lot of people are going to be on the total opposite end of the spectrum and sort of say superheroes what I would keep and get rid of horror because they may not like horror. But I think what some of these horror movies have been doing and what they're doing now, where some of them are going to start getting Oscar worthy nominations, where yeah, superhero did it just with Black Panther, but after that, you haven't seen too much superhero be noticed in the major Oscar categories. Where horror, you see it a bit more. It's an up and coming genre that I think has been around for so long and has made a cultural difference in creating and some of these directors that I think not many people will jump into superhero movies unless they get paid quite a bit. So I would eliminate superhero because I think without it, I would still enjoy the movie experience. But I will say, enjoy superhero movies all the time. Still watch them all the time.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I feel like horror films, we talk about it a bunch on this pod. I feel like that they're ultra entertaining. They keep you at the edge of your seat. And they give you a feeling unlike any other genre of movie kind of gives you.
Hmm.
Like what's going to happen next, or the wide pan of a living
Hmm.
room and somebody staring at the screen directly, and it's like, what
Yeah.
the hell is going to come up behind them?
Yeah.
It's just the film aspects to it, the creativity. Yeah, I kind of same train of thought, and
Hmm.
then you can still kind of get a lot of the action feel for things out of that action genre,
Hmm.
just not have a hero background to it.
Yeah.
For me, it probably would have been between superheroes in action because they're kind of similar. But it's just kind of like, choose what you like. It's do you prefer like a superhero theme and you really enjoy Marvel, or are you okay having more movies or,
Hmm.
James Bond-esque, type stuff. And it's kind of more of that realism when it comes to
Yeah.
action. And yeah, it's kind of gets you thinking. Comedy, yeah, I would never let go of comedy. Stupid comedy, especially, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then animation, animation, I feel like is something that you grow up on and then you get to re-enjoy as an adult because
Hmm.
you see it through, if you have kids, you get to kind of share those moments with your kids. So
Hmm.
super cool. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
these are fun.
Huh?
I
Those
have
are
a lot of
fun.
fun with these. This is a
Yeah.
great, great little game.
Yeah. I got one for you. Like I said, I got
Oh,
three.
okay.
I got five different ones, but
Sweet.
I'm gonna throw this one at you. Sort of throw it a little different.
Okay.
So, first one, GTA 5,
Okay.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
Oh, okay.
Halo 3,
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers,
Okay.
Gears of War.
Oh. And with Super Mario Brothers, does this include Mario Kart? Does this include,
No,
or just,
more just like the individual games of Super Mario Brothers, not Mario Kart, because that one's totally different.
okay. Yeah, because it's a mix of characters.
And not like Mario Party, not um what's the one where they fight why am I blinking on that one?
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. Yeah, not that one. So more
Okay,
just like the
okay.
Super Mario games.
Got it. Um, yeah. All right. So I'll start talking about the ones I'd keep for sure. MW2 is an instant keep. One of my favorite Call of Duties back when Call of Duty was
Hmm.
the shit. Like just couldn't beat it. Don't want to play any other game. Don't care about any other game. MW2, Call of Duty, that's it. Like occupy your weekend status.
Yeah.
Um, especially when you're in high school when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be by far and away number one. Or close to it. Um, let's see. Then Gears of War. I talk about Gears of War so much. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Great memories playing that in high school as well. Unlike any other game up to that point.
Mhm.
When can you go around and chainsaw people?
Yep.
And just the way that you could snipe. I think the way it played, the people I played with, my buddies,
Hmm.
ton of fun. Gears of War, definitely not getting rid of it. Um, then GTA 5. GTA 5, us as a friend group have had so many fun late nights playing that game.
Hmm.
The missions you can do online, the businesses, the free roam aspect, you name it. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, GTA 5 is certainly one I'd keep as well. Um, so then we're down to Super Smash Bros. And what was another one?
Halo.
Halo. Both I haven't played in a while. Um, I think I'm keeping Halo. I think I'm keeping Halo, and I'm getting rid of Smash Bros. Or not Smash Bros. Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Is a game that I'd play decent amount. Never super got into it because I was more like wanting to play games I could pair with friends,
Hmm.
battle or things like that. I feel like the individual solo player games, like where you go to different worlds, stuff like that, very fun,
Hmm.
great arcade style games. But I just feel like the outcome of having a game like Halo, because I always reference like just Killtacular, or
Yeah.
like I try to reference the names
Uh,
Kilimanjaro, and it's the sniping of that game was a ton of fun. As you can tell,
mhm.
I love to snipe in video games. That was a ton of fun. The maps, the way the game would play, like I feel like Halo was one of the first games that kind of started like the competitive gaming,
Mhm.
industry altogether. Call of Duty is certainly up there, but Halo is definitely one to consider. And Xbox at the time, it was, that was the game to have. If you had an
Yeah.
Xbox, you had Halo. So yeah, I'd keep Halo and then get rid of Mario Bros.
Okay. Yeah. I could see that. I would have kept GTA. I think same reasons for you. Our friend group recently really got into it. We would play late nights, and also I think the individual story, just the campaign mode with that was great. Just so much fun. You could do so much with GTA 5 and even just a GTA collection in general. What they've done for gaming is incredible. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I couldn't eliminate that one. That one, like you say, changed so many of our lives. We played that game. I remember playing it till like 4 or 5 a.m. My dad getting ready for work and getting so mad at me that I was still playing video games. I think we would all
Yep.
hear all our parents sort of yelling at us around the same time, 5, 6 a.m., that we've stayed up
Oh
all
yeah.
night playing it because it was that much fun. And like I said, with the friend group. Then I'd keep Halo. I think for me, I owned an Xbox for quite a while. Halo was the one game that I played the most. The story mode for it I enjoyed. And then
Mhm.
yeah, just the multiplayer. I think it was next to Modern Warfare what really changed gaming. They made a big impact. Um, and I'd keep Super Mario Bros. Because that's sort of what just got me into gaming. It was fun.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I still enjoy playing it on the Switch every now and then that I get a chance. Um, I would get rid of Gears of War. I think it's a great game. I did play. I had fun.
Mhm.
I just don't think I was as into it as other people were, as you.
Yeah.
I like the chainsawing. I like the multiplayer. When I started playing the multiplayer, it was fun, but it was
Mhm.
just a totally different game. And like I say, I can't get rid of Super Mario Brothers because, like I say, it's what got me into gaming. I think without Super Mario Brothers having a Nintendo, I probably would have never gamed if that never came into my life. So that's why I got to keep Mario Bros. And for me, Gears of War is the victim to this list right here.
Yeah, it's a tough victim. Yeah, see, in I think what could have tilted the tides for me because two games that got me into it, into gaming altogether was Mario Kart
Hmm.
and Mario Party.
Yeah,
Both just avid,
yeah.
player of both of those games. Ton of fun. Play with a bunch of different people.
Hmm.
Also fun solo. Um, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's Super Mario Bros. Is how a ton of people just kind of got into it, and again like that arcade style game,
Hmm.
it's so much fun. Teenage Mutant
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles was one of the games that
Oh
got
yeah,
me into it on
yeah.
Super
That's a good
Nintendo.
one. Yeah,
Great arcade game. Whenever we go over to Chris's house, I hog that game, and
yeah.
Theo loves to play it too. So,
Uh,
nothing beats that.
yeah. I remember the Simpsons game, the arcade one.
Oh, the
Yeah.
best.
A lot of quarters spent on that game.
So one thing about that game is my parents were in a bowling league and they would say, "Hey Tim, here's a cup of quarters. Go hit up the arcade." So I would go at the arcade while they would bowl, and they had Simpsons, and I would play Simpsons there and just be stuck. And then NBA Jam was
Oh
also
yeah,
there,
that's
but
another good one.
those two, like bowling alley arcades back in the day,
Oh yeah,
come on, the
yeah,
best.
yeah. No, but yeah, like I say, I came up with that one because I thought about video games. We talk a lot about it. It's a tough one, like I say. Other
Yeah,
people, I think there's some people that probably would have gotten rid of GTA 5. I think they're
sure.
just, it's not for them. I think the two that would have stayed for sure, I think in 99% of people's lists, Call of Duty and Halo. I think those two were
Yeah,
just generational game changing for gaming overall and especially multiplayer LAN parties. I remember as a kid
oh,
with some of my friends from soccer, we'd have
yeah,
LAN parties, just a bunch of Xboxes, a bunch of TVs, and we're just
did
chilling
that
in the
too.
same place. It's like that, and like I said, that was Halo.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then driving around the Warthog and all the vehicles you could
Oh
get,
yeah,
running people over,
yeah,
dude, it's so much
yeah,
fun.
yeah. There's not another game like it. So,
No.
but yeah, those are our, eliminate one where you got to pick one of a tough list of five to eliminate. Let us know what you think of our choices. I know a lot of people are going to hate what I chose for the Dodgers for
Mhm.
movie genres and even video games, but like I say, it's a conversation. And I think it's great conversation starters and just fun activity.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna get a ton of Mario's and Luigi's and Wario people after me.
Yeah.
Uh, pickaxes and being like, how do you choose Gears of War over that?
You might, Tim. You might. You
Uh,
got it. We got a lot of hate for our last one. We'll see. We'll see what happens with these three topics.
yeah, people couldn't
But
believe I chose to keep Buster Posey. That was the one.
yeah, it's a tough one though.
It
It,
is.
it is
It's really
tough.
tough. Yeah, I guess the guy I chose to exclude as a large brick wall monument at the ballpark called McCovey
Well,
Cove.
well, like I say, if we would do this, say in 10 years, Buster Posey has a statue because as a player he had got World Series and now as a GM he gets World Series.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't really eliminate him either. So then who are you eliminating?
that's
Bumgarner?
true.
That's a
Yeah,
tough one. That's what he did. Like it's tough.
it is. It's
Yeah,
super tough. It's super tough. And then, yeah, you got to think positional at times. There's a big whirlwind. Everybody sees how we kind of work our way through this list. It's
yeah,
not easy, but that's just the way you got to do it.
yeah. You got to pick one, like I say, and people
Yeah.
are gonna hate what you pick sometimes, but it's just part of it and part of this activity. Try it out with your friends, at the bar. when you're drinking. When you're drinking with friends, oh, this could get a little dangerous. So be careful though.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a few too many and then you start comparing lists like this and
Ugh.
eliminate one. Oh,
Ah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fun banter.
Yes, but that's the show today. Thank you to everybody for listening to us, bantering us along the way. As always, your support keeps this thing growing every week. So we thank you guys for watching the videos on YouTube. Um, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, thank you. And if you're watching the clips on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at times. Also, thank you. Appreciate it. Share it. Please hit that like, subscribe button. We really do appreciate that. And as always, yeah, just keep on commenting. We enjoy the banter.
Absolutely. Yeah, just like John said, we appreciate the banter. Everybody's has the right to an opinion, and we love to hear everybody's. And yeah, each and every week, thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts, watching, listening, however you guys view our content means everything. We're going to keep coming at it each and every
Yeah,
week, and we got a lot to yap about.
yeah,
So
we do.
thank you
We
very
do.
much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Stay dry if you're in Cali. And
Oh
until
yeah.
next time, this is Banter on the Rocks.
Peace.